Hey everyone, it's Katie and Audrey. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are really excited to be talking about our experience on the WHOLE30. We just finished it a couple days ago on the 31st of January. We started on the 2nd of January, so we did a full 30 days. Neither of us cheated at all. Neither of us weighed ourselves the whole entire time.
Which is a rule.
And yeah, we're super proud that we did it. So we're going to be talking about our experiences with it, our tips, and then answering some of the questions that we were messaged on Instagram.
Yep. Okay, so let's first talk about our experiences.
Yeah.
You have something on your lip. Looks like
it smells weird.
It looks like caviar. Okay, so my experience on the WHOLE30 overall would be a thumbs up. I think it's worth it, which was one of the questions people asked, like, is it actually worth it? Because it is hard work.
It's a major life commitment.
I definitely felt a difference in my energy levels. It's so funny because on the WHOLE30 website they have like this timeline of like what you're gonna be feeling each day, and obviously like we were like a little bit off sometimes. Like it wasn't like by the day, but it was so true. Like the first couple of days you're so tired because you're going through withdrawal of sugar, and you can expect that. So like prepare well before you start, so you're not like having to cook a ton while you're like going through those exhausted days. But then like it just starts to like skyrocket, and I feel like, I mean, my job is tiring. I'm a teacher, so like I'm not like, oh, I'm like an Energizer bunny and like don't need to sleep, but I definitely feel a difference because before the WHOLE30 I was like, something is seriously wrong with me. Like that's how tired I am. And I just feel overall like healthier. I feel like I don't know, like my skin, and people like were like, yeah, your face looks like a little bit like thinner and stuff, and I didn't lose that much weight, which is like really not the point of the WHOLE30. It's really to reset yourself and like get started on a journey towards like health. And so my main focus during it wasn't like working out a ton. Like my main focus was like, just don't cheat, like stay true to the rules. And I also just like, I feel so proud of myself. Like I feel like that was one of the biggest things, was like, I need to be able to prove to myself that I can do this. Like I can do hard things.
I would say my experience was pretty similar to Audrey's. I felt really energized for a while, but it's sort of hard for me to like track my energy levels in relationship to food since I have a baby. And so it's like also like, do I feel good because I slept a full night last night or what? But yeah, I feel like I felt really good. I was really hoping to lose baby weight, and I lost 2 pounds.
Which was discouraging,
So,
but
that's not the point of it. So it was like I had to really just take my thoughts captive that day and be like, okay, like my point was not to lose weight. My point was to like feel better, have more energy. And then a big reason that I did it was because I really wanted to see how different foods were impacting me. So I'm taking 3 days to introduce a new food and see how I do with it. So I did wine first because that was like, for me, that felt like
a reward,
but also just like, I don't know, like I wasn't jumping off the deep end having a glass of red wine, but I wanted to see how do I feel the next morning, how do I sleep, all those different things. And I really did feel okay. So now I can drink wine guilt-free.
And something I tagged Katie on Instagram this morning was like, you can't expect to see crazy changes in your body within a month. Like you just can't, unless you're starving yourself or exercising excessively and like to a point where you're obsessive about it. You're not going to see these crazy results. But you will see a little bit, and then we're making life changes. Like we're changing the way we look at food, we're changing our addictions and our cravings, and like that stuff totally worked with the WHOLE30. So if you're looking for like a quick way to lose weight, the WHOLE30 isn't it.
No.
But I also think that's never really healthy, whatever those diets are that make you lose weight that quick. Like it's a process.
Plus, like, you want to do something that you can sustain. And so something that Audrey was reminding me of the whole time was like, even if you don't see results right away, eventually you will see results of the habits that you're changing. And so I think that that's been a really good perspective shift for me. And for those of you that are wondering what the WHOLE30 is.
Oh yeah, we forgot to explain that.
It is a paleo-based detox program, sort of, I would say. Elimination diet. So you're eating meat, fruit, vegetables, nuts, oils,
Coffee.
yeah, fish. But you're just basically not eating any grains, dairy, gluten,
Legumes.
sugar is a big one.
Yeah.
How to survive.
Because this thing is freaking hard.
I don't know that either of us would have done it if we didn't have each other. So tip number 1, have a partner.
Yes.
Like, my husband did it with us too, and I think it helped that our whole house was Whole30, which
except for he cheated.
he had energy drinks, yeah, but that
He
was
still had Monsters. It's like,
he's like, oh, that's the only thing I'm gonna have. It's like, dude, those literally have like 60 grams of sugar in them.
but I was impressed that he was like eating what we were eating, because
let's be honest, he usually eats pizza, Chinese food, whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And he
did it.
He did it, except for the energy drinks.
Yeah. He loves Monsters. Okay. One of my biggest tips is to meal prep. So I think that was like the biggest lifesaver for me. Was every Sunday I would go grocery shopping and I would figure out, what am I going to have for lunch every day this week? What am I going to have for dinner every day this week? What am I going to have when shit hits the fan and I need something sweet? So that was like blueberries or like blackberries or frozen mangoes. I love frozen mangoes. I would meal prep, and then I wouldn't have to think about what I was eating. Like, that was what got me through it. Was like, I made a decision, like, I'm just not going to think about this much. Like, when my friends are out eating, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't have it. Like, I'm just not going to do that. Like, I'm choosing now at the start of this, like, I'm not going to be complaining 24/7. And there were some nights where my friends were eating and I was like, like, looking at their food. But for the most part, I was like, not a big deal. I brought my food. Like, whatever. I didn't want to be like, I'm not going because I can't have what's on the menu. Or like going to get drinks at happy hour and stuff. Like, I just didn't want to be like, no, I'm not going. And so a huge thing for me was literally every single time we went out, like, went to a happy hour or something, I would go to Sprouts and buy a kombucha. And I would bring my kombucha, and that's what I was sipping on. Like, I no joke went to like dive bars and like was like just walking around with my kombucha and was like, not a big deal. Like, I love kombucha, and it kind of tastes like fizzy and like maybe.
Do you hear that?
Boom, boom.
Someone is blasting their speakers in our neighborhood.
And I would say for me, choosing some staple foods to just buy a lot of and always have on hand. It got really hard when we didn't have any food, and it was like, oh my gosh, like, I just want to go out and grab something super quick. But I always had sweet potatoes, avocados, and like bananas and almond butter. Like, that was something that I could just always base my meals around. And I think always having some sort of protein available too. And then my final tip would be to keep it simple. So I think when I start something new, I'm really excited, so I'll like jump head in and be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make all this exotic Whole30 food. But I would honestly recommend for at least the first week or 2 weeks, keep it super simple. Grill chicken, bake sweet potatoes, have salad. Like, just keep it simple, and so you're not overthinking it, and you're not making these crazy dishes that are taking you an hour to make, because it will just overwhelm you. So I kept it really simple at first, and then like I started working in some recipes that I saw on Pinterest or in the cookbook or something like that, and that kind of gave us some diversity. But at first, like, simple foods are great.
And you're not bored of it yet. You know, like, if you start to get bored of it and you're like, I'm really depressed that I'm eating another grilled chicken breast, then like dive into the Whole30 cookbook, find something that looks fun to you and get excited about it and cook it, and that's so fun. All right, story time. So one of my Whole30 stories that was bad was I was at a New Year's party on like January 5th. So I was like pretty, like, I think I was like 4 days into the Whole30, and I had not come up with the idea of going and getting kombucha yet when I was like with friends. And so everyone was like drinking beers, like having fun. And I was like, I'm gonna drink coffee. Like, that will get me wired and like just like be able to join the fun. And I don't really need that stuff, but I was like, I want something to like sip on and like walk around with or whatever. And so I was like, there was like this coffee maker like in the lobby area that we were like having this gathering, and I just kept going back and getting more.
You did? I thought you only drank 1 cup.
No, I had 3 cups. And this
Oh
was like
my
starting at like 10
gosh.
p.m. So I was drinking coffee until like 12 or something.
Oh,
And
sis.
I had the worst night of my life. Like, I usually don't get super affected by coffee, but I also, like, I usually only have 1 cup of coffee. So I was like, just like, this is so fun to like have something to sip on, you know? And anyways,
Oh my gosh.
I was in bed like until like 2 a.m. and had to wake up at 6 a.m. the next day for work, and it was the most miserable thing that I experienced the whole 30. So don't do that. Like, especially because I feel like your body is like extra sensitive to anything you're putting in it when you're like detoxing from so many things. I was so affected by the caffeine, and it's not like I could just go stuff my face with bread to like get to absorb it. Like, I just had to go to bed, and I was like, and it was, I woke up feeling like anxious and like still jittery. So that was a fail, a Whole30 fail.
Yeah.
So don't do that. If you're gonna go out and you want something to drink, get kombucha. Tell the story about the pizza.
Really tired. Okay. Also, the night before we did the Whole30, we were traveling back from Virginia for the holidays, and it was on the 1st. And we were like, well, one, it was really hard because we got back at like 10 o'clock at night or something like that. Eva was screaming bloody murder in the
She
car.
wanted to get home so badly.
Yeah.
All I wanted was Penang curry before we went on
but
the
there was
Whole30.
no Thai places open at 10 o'clock at night. So we were like, should we just order pizza? So we did it, and we ate pizza the night before. Which, I mean, like, looking back, I'm like...
It was so long ago, I don't even remember how it affected me.
I know. I think that, honestly, like, if you're one of those people that needs to, like, get in your last supper before you do something, then do it. Because, honestly, at this point, I'm like, that was a freaking month ago. Like, it doesn't really affect me. But also, like, you don't wake up feeling good the next morning, which kind of makes you want to eat well.
Yeah.
But,
And I also think just, like, a reason not to do that would just be that, like, you're trying to make a life change. So, like, just start eating well as soon as you decide that you want to make a life change. And then, like, when you decide you want to do the Whole30, start eating, like, the Whole30. But, yeah, we wanted to have one last hurrah, and then we did the Whole30.
We did it.
Oh. But one more story.
Audrey ate a lentil.
I ate a lentil by accident. Ugh, worst thing of my life. The whole 30, all I could talk about was lentils. I was like, I want lentils. I want lentils. I want lentils. And I was so frustrated because lentils are, in my opinion, are good for you. But Whole30 is hard because you're trying to curb cravings, and so you're not having lentils, beans, quinoa, any of those things that are good for you, but they do kind of fill you up in a different way than like just meat and veggies do. And so I was like kind of bitter about this whole thing the whole time, and I was like, as soon as I get off the Whole30, I'm making my lentil curry, which I'm obsessed with, and I will post the link below because it's the best recipe ever, and you should have it maybe as your last supper or as your celebration supper. Everyone was like, what are you gonna have when you get off the Whole30? I was like, lentil soup. And people were like, what? You're not gonna go have like a donut? I'm like, no, all I want is lentils. So the night before we got off the Whole30, which was what, 2 nights ago, I was like, gotta cook my lentil curry for lunch tomorrow. Like, that is what I'm gonna have tomorrow for lunch. And I'm like cooking it, and I'm like FaceTiming a friend while I'm cooking it, so I'm not really paying attention. I'm like sipping it, and then I didn't even notice in the moment. I'm like trying it, making sure it's like doesn't need any more curry or salt. And then like later that night, I don't remember how I realized it, but I was talking to Katie. I was like, I made my lentil curry for tomorrow. And then I just go, I tried it. And she goes, did you get a lentil? And I go, I mean, I think so. They're like split lentils. So there's like tons in there. Like every soup, like every spoonful, you get a little. And I was like, oh my gosh, do I not get to say that I did the Whole30? Whoa, nap time. We love naps. But anyways, so I did cheat.
I think that she did it.
I think I did it too, so I'm gonna say that I did it because I did not mean to. It wasn't like I was like succumbing to a craving or anything like that. And it's a lentil. It wasn't like I by accidentally had a bite of a cookie. Like that wouldn't happen. But I really was preparing because I was so excited and eager for this lentil soup. And then I tried it, just 1 spoonful. But that was a moment that I was like, I literally said to Katie, I go, we can't tell we can't tell it on our video. And she was like, you have to tell. I was like, I don't want
We're
to.
all about hashtag honesty.
Ew. All right. That is all.
Sayonara, suckers.
Time for a nap.